Una good evening, my fellow Ambazonians. For all our people them across the globe, una good evening for all una. All the one them for ground zero, una good evening for all una. The one them for Europe, una so good evening for all una. For all people there, they did for that side, for Hong Kong, for Malaysia, for Singapore, for China, for India, for for Pakistan, for Bangladesh, even the one that we did for that side for Malaysia, for Singapore, even the one that we did for New Zealand, for that side for Australia also. We say una I think for that side now already Wednesday for morning time for una for that side. Una good morning for Wednesday morning for una for that side. All our people them for that side for Dubai, for the Persian Gulf, and for the Middle East, we call one a cafe. All Ambazonia they did for this side for Caribbean country them. So for the one they did for that side for Cuba. Even the one that they don't cross, they reach for that side for Mexico. We salute all una. For all Ambazonia the way they did for this side for North America. Now afternoon for some place for North America. Now so morning time for some place for North America. For people the way they still in morning time for morning time. Una good morning. For the one that win afternoon, especially for people that did for Eastern time zone, una good afternoon for all una. Even the one that did it for Central time zone, una so good afternoon for all una. Una welcome for this story for today. I'll be una brother Asu, una the press secretary for the executive office for Governing Council of Ambazonia. Today, we're on Tuesday, number 27 day for the month of July for 2021. Today, I don't come for can give una the update for the liberation. I don't come for can give una updates of what did happen inside even the colonial state, what did happen inside the Ambazonia, which are things today in terms of Ambazonia liberation. I know say I not be fit for talk for una yesterday because of our schedule. I be think say DDC Capodan is supposed to go live, and so I say okay, since it go live, make it use of the schedule. So with your own time to be also fit for come live, and me try not be fit for come live. So today I get for doing a double work. All right, but as always, we dey enough for serve what people them, we dey enough for educate what people them, we dey enough for inform what people them, we dey enough for give what people them encouragement, for give what people them hope, we dey enough for give what people them the support where they need them for what they don't ask for. All money plays there. We also know say they say the people them for ACN TV, they go to broadcast this conversation to the people of Ground Zero. Make we start the story. Before we go for the story, I will give you a couple of news items, the things in way, a few things in way that don't happen within La Republique du Cameroon, and a few things in way they need our attention. I'll give you now a few news items. Make we start with this one. The Colonial Minister of Defense, Betty Asomo, placed down the shake them for inside La Republique du Cameroon based on Ambazonian resistance. They don't do over fear because of the attack them where they don't cross, enter for inside for that side for the western region, for that side for Bafoussam. So Cameroon don't the shake, say things they need to stand fine. Now then that, they don't move their Minister of Defense, Betty Asomo. They sending me go for that side for western region, for go tell the people them for the western region, and for go meet up with the generals and commanders, La Republique Colonial generals and commanders, and for tell them say they get the support of the colonial state for make sure say Ambazonian fighters they not cross enter for western region for carry the war go inside for them. So for them, a lot of fear day inside La Republique du Cameroon. Say the Ambazonian war, it goes also continue for enter through western region, and it goes also continue for go to that side for Douala. So fear you over plenty inside La Republique du Cameroon, especially for western region, especially for cities them like I think for that side for Bafoussam and all the other one them, I think Bamutus too. So fear overdid them. Now the thing that they don't move the highest authority for their government in terms of defense for Senam, for go assure the population and assure the colonial forces. All right. That one be being one of the small news and that what did it happen inside La Republique. So for another one, another one the year La Republique will come on, they don't move newspaper. One of their biggest newspaper, the Guardian Post. He too don't come out. He talks, they say, for the country that they call and say Cameroon. Now when they ask the question, things falling apart for government, they ask them, say things that they fall apart for the government. And the answer, if you read the paper, the answer is yes. Say the Cameroon government, the Cameroon colonial government, we don't claim they don't achieve victory for the war. The Cameroon colonial government, it is so suffer, na big defeat them every day, attack for all kind place them. And the biggest one now, we don't come. Now a couple of attacks we don't take place already, then they can't talk against it. They say the Ambazonian forces for achieve certain objectives them would it be very useful for the Ambazonian people. The Ambazonian forces, they block the road for Bali. They block the big road, the big highway for Bali. They don't block them. And the Cameroon government, enough you open them. So today, the Ambazonia Defense Forces, they know say, since they closed the Bali road, the Cameroon army, they don't change their movement. And some strategic places, the day with Cameroon army, they don't continue for past for day. So that they fit Dutch. Ambazonia Defense Forces today also, they take another action and I will bring on that update. Pobia don't disgrace the people them for CPDM Central Committee. No, not this one. I'll bring on that one. The one for teachers. Now, Langa people this, what they call them people them for CPDM Central Committee. Now the Langa people them this. Now them that. So they don't hear say Pobia, they don't go put out information for our side. On Friday, say Masa Pobia, we go for Switzerland for go meet up with international partners. And as we also don't hear say for also seek medical treatment. For go get advice from the international community and for see what it go be next step. So that if you take that next step, they go at least come for a support. For see how they fit make this palaver between Ambazonia, it go be in something where it go propose a domestic solution and it go be acceptable by the international community. So, now the people them for the CPDM Central Committee, as always, Langa people them, they always find a place where they fit get money and place where they fit get chop and place where they fit get mimbo. So now them that, they don't go carry all kind woman them and all kind man them. All man wear CPDM uniform, carry all kind pobia, a picture, pobia here and a woman, a picture them. They come out. They go shit down for in Simalen Airport because they don't hear say pobia go they come back from Switzerland. They don't go shit down for Simalen Airport. They shit down from morning till night. From morning time, 6 o'clock for morning time, they don't go line up for Simalen Airport. They drink 3-3 export. They sing, oh, Pobia, the President de la République, Mami Chanto, Chantabia. They sing all kinds of songs from 6 o'clock for morning. Now we can't reach 6 o'clock for evening. They say, who's that Pobia way talks they come out Switzerland? It come. Who's that Mr. Head of State? Who's that day? 6 o'clock can reach. Pobia no day. 7 o'clock for night, it can't reach. Bia no day. 8 o'clock for night. There are the people they say, now what it is? They say, I beg, when I put with small street light, they can't put small street light. Mosquitoes start wahala them. The moment mosquitoes start for buy them, and the mimbo they be program them. Okay, say maybe any person will get only 2 bottles mimbo and small bread and sardine. The chop they already finished. 8 o'clock, all man vamos. Poor Bia no show up. Now the thing that will happen for For the people them for CPDM Central Committee for that side for Yaoundé. So today, Paul Biya never show up. Now the people that they ask him, say ye the Paul Biya don't go back for Switzerland. Na small visit he be go and for go make sure say also get more medical checkup. Wait he go so meant for Switzerland. So the people them now they just the wait. Whether Paul Biya go come back or whether I know will come back but the program for them for go welcome Paul Biya so that the fee gets more money for Mimbo. It don't fail. What did they call and say Anglophone teachers? They don't vex. Una sabi say they don't move GC board from Boya. They can't go for Yaoundé. Right? They don't move GC board from Boya. Can't go for Yaoundé. So time for mark the Colonial exam for the few Ambazonian or Anglophone students them. For the Colonial state, the time don't reach. Now we teachers they don't start for vex. Teachers they say fraud over plenty. Exam way GC exam for the A levels and O levels. For which then they call and say Anglophone picking them where they go, where they still go school. For the Colonial state and the one for Ambazonia, where they still the height, they go school. They don't go write this exam. Now very few of them they write the exam. So now time for mark the exam don't reach. Teacher they don't start cry. They say why this the colonial government, why did they overlike corruption so? So the teacher they write a petition now. They talk say they say why teachers they teach the picking them where they write O level. That means say all the teachers they teach the O level and A level subjects them for the GCE. Why be say when time for marking one reach, they go carry na university teachers. Wonder shall never end. They go carry na university teachers them. We not be that they teach the from 5 picking them and the opposite picking them where they write GC. They will go carry na all university teachers them where they on holidays. They can't choke them. Maybe that they can mark exam. Because that exam, they give them small exam allowance as they mark them. So instead of the teachers them, when they teach the GC subjects for O level and A level, now they're supposed to mark this exam because now they teach the subjects. Now the colonial state, they are ministers of education, the delegates of education, they will go carry na university teachers them so that they pay them less money. And then these big people them, they go take the remaining money, they choke them for their pocket. So now then they go hire university teachers. May they come mark exam for lower price. So mu just talk say if they be supposed to give you na 10,000 or 20,000 every day. Then they will go hire those other people them for 10,000 every day. Then the other 10,000 they will choke them for their own pocket. Then they also complain say that they only go higher than their friend them. They must find their own friend them where they teach. Now only them will do the marking. Now they complain that we don't come out for that side for the teachers and then they call them Anglophone teachers where they do the marking. The story for today. Now very important story what one can give now. That one be being a news headline. Now make a bring una the story for today. The story for today, the leader for a war of independence, Dr. Ayabacho, he don't move big message today for the Ambazonian people. Them, I'll bring them for all for here. The leader don't talk something will be very important for the Ambazonian people. Them. Very important. And at the discussion this for today. Today, the leader move out a message. We talk say today, we celebrate the life of Boss Spirit. When a good commander, we do very wonderful work for our liberation. And he died for the line of duty. Now we talk say, small movement, it no go be for some place and for Ambazonia. For around Mbengui area. It talks to me on man stay make one man begin to look the eye fine before he walk out. It talks yesterday also, it be there a country Sunday. Now the day where all the Ambazonian people them together, that they show the collectiveness of our resistance against Cameroon. It talks country Sunday, now the day where they remind all we for all the hard work we all we do for make sure say we show our responsibility for make sure say we end Cameroon occupation of our land. It's we get for continue through the ghost town for send a powerful message to La République and to the international community for tell them say not been a 1961 days. All right, with 1961 it's been a big scam, and it talks to make we remind ourselves say the independence it be don't be restored, and for 2017 they don't reaffirm that independence. The people they must defend the independence until the Ambazonian people them they get total freedom and they take the country back. The leader talks say Connie, for achieve independence and for achieve freedom, Connie no day and consort in no day. When I hear fine, the leader talks say for achieve independence and for achieve freedom, Connie no day and consort in no day. That's so the leader he talk for the Ambazonian people them. He talks say we must tie our heart, we must sacrifice, we must be strong until we take back our country, we take back Ambazonia from the brutal La République du Cameroon. It talks say our war would use a gun for fight. It must continue in a big way until we defeat La République du Cameroon for the battlefield, or they go for negotiation and then they sign their letter for surrender for the negotiating table. It talks say for any of the way them, Cameroon must pay a heavy price for this palaver where they think say na play for them, na play for war. Okay? And it talks say for all the people them, whether they help La République du Cameroon as they call them enablers or black legs. For all the people that they help La République du Cameroon, whether they collaborate with La République du Cameroon, for continue the genocide on the Ambazonian people, the colonialism, and them for commit all these crime them. It tell them say may they be reminded, say any person it go pay a high price. Now we go ahead for talk with the Ambazonian people, say, my fellow people, it talks say the governing council of Ambazonia, when are the leading movement, we did lead the war for Ambazonian liberation. It be set out for achieve, it don't achieve three very important victories or successes for the Ambazonian people now. Very important successes. Where the AGovC, through a roadmap, will be laying out for how Ambazonia will achieve independence. Now, three things then, where one can tell the Ambazonian people, say, the AGovC, the Ambazonian people, they don't use what the AGovC establishing for them and help for achieve three very important things. And now this one, it will be our discussion for today. It talks in number one, the three important things then. I say the Ambazonian people, they don't make self-defense the pillar and the cornerstone or the foundation for our liberation. And number one that. Number two, the governing council of Ambazonia, it be set out for take the matter, this resistance, for taken from being a domestic issue, for make it be an international issue. And number two that we talk. Number 3, now say the AGovC, it don't stop the people that they be think say then they get the popularity. Yeah, then they be the popular movements for use their popularity for carry Ambazonia independence. Like motor will not get driver, may go get accident, may the liberation end. For their amateurish adventurism, for scatter the revolution because of their quest for popularity, for derail the independence. It was the Ambazonia Governing Council, through the leadership of Dr. Ayaba, it don't stop all the play picking them, the play people them, where the one just use the revolution for their quick adventures. He also talks, they say that one, it don't force all the other people them, where they not be believed for self-defense, through the AGovC roadmap, it don't force all man for accept self-defense as the only way for Ambazonia for get what they want. And then it talks, they say the AGovC, it don't also succeed for stop all the other movements for make the issue of negotiation with Cameroon for be the objective of what the people that they fight for, instead of for be the means. So now the 3 things in this way we want to discuss, the 3 achievements, the core key achievements of the Ambazonia Governing Council as the leading movement. How will we evaluate them? How will we claim, say this one then are achievements? Now the reason that we're talking about, we can't get this conversation for today. Because it go help we for review who's out there. When we start for 2016 and it move for 2017, when the armed resistance will be launched, Dr. Ayaba, it be make me be very clear for the Ambazonian people. Say self-defense na right. And the Ambazonian people, they not going to make the errors of the past. For say when the people they rise up, and la République du Cameroun it deploy a colonial military police, gendarme and B, the Ambazonian people they will run back, go back inside their house. And the resistance, it go die. The leader talks to the Ambazonian people, they no go ever make that kind of mistake. When the people they rise up for streets, for peaceful protest, and the colonial state, you know, so when he use brutal force for burn people their house, rape mommy them, rape sister them, keep picking them, catch papa them, go lock them, the Ambazonian people, they will be so fearful, kill some other people then, every other person go run. The leader is start for tell we for 2016, it start for tell we say, all these protests where they make them, now a waste. The way where you fight a brutal occupier, not be that through peaceful means. Now for you for rise up, for man up, for be man enough, for be woman enough, for get the courage enough, for you for stand for your own foot then. And you talk say the Nofi ever treat you this way anymore. So the leader, he invoked the international right for self-defense, and he make him a gospel for the Ambazonian people then. He preach that gospel to the Ambazonian people then. He educate the Ambazonian people then. He tell the Ambazonian people the reason why. The reason why self-defense go be not the only thing. Where if the Ambazonian people they pursue them, if the Ambazonian people they sacrifice for it, if the Ambazonian people they embrace them, it go be not the only thing we go give the Ambazonian people their dignity back. If you not fight Cameroon method for method, gun by gun, bullet by bullet, pound by pound, this same generation, it go make the exact same mistake where they make them for 1961. And Cameroon go reoccupy Ambazonia. And for the rest of the Ambazonian people, their lives and their history, or their futures, the Ambazonian people, they no go ever fit for rise up again. So through that one, it make self-defense, it be na the corner pillar, na the foundation, as they call it, the cornerstone for our liberation. Now a big achievement that 5 years later, or 4 years, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, almost 5 years. Even the people them, where they be wash their hand today, they did for inside self-defense. Even the movements and leaders, where they be apologize to Pobia for ADF for killed gendarmes for 2017. These same people them, today, they don't embrace self-defense. Even the people that they write letter to La République du Cameroon, say they distance themselves from ADF, their actions, for go attack and for kill La République du Cameroon. Those same people, today as we speak, they don't embrace self-defense. Every movement will not be one get anything to do with self-defense. Today, they don't realize and say, that self-defense, it be the number one strategy for Ambazonian resistance. All man, they don't embrace self-defense. So, a big achievement for the Ambazonian people, for the change in mindset. A people that be very passive. A people that be very timid. But the leader, he persistence and he insistence, he consistency, he persistency for ongoing education, for inspire the people them, and launch the first most organized self-defense structure on the ground. It changed the people, their perception. It changed their interpretation. It changed the way their narrative of what to be self-defense. It get an entire population where they don't be subjugated and they don't take away everything where they get them. It get those same people for woke up, for rise up, and for create block by block. For every block on the ground, for rise. Because the people, they finally catch up with the idea, with the philosophy. And now they don't become a popular, it don't become a popular strategy where every single person on the ground, you understand them. Not only a strategy where people, they just understand them like a strategy, but now every commander on the ground, every block on the ground, it be defended. People don't rise up. All kind of commanders, they don't rise up for defend their blocks, for organize themselves, for defend the Ambazonian people, for protect the Ambazonian people, and for defend the independence, for fight for the liberation, and for defend the sovereignty of Ambazonia. And now, self-defense, it don't become now our primary leverage on the negotiation table. And without those guns on the ground, not enough for the like Ambazonia resistance. So now a big achievement this for people that they be a non-violent people then, a people that they don't live under torture, terrorism, subjugation, all kind of dehumanization. But they not be fit for woke up for do am. So how one man through a belief and a faith and a pragmatic ideology, it managed change an entire generation. It managed for reprogram and recondition the minds of an entire generation for embrace an ideology and accept them as the ticket to their freedom. Very powerful. Now, a big achievement this for Governing Council of Ambazonia. Now, a big achievement this of the brilliance of the conceptualization for the strategy of our liberation. And today, even, I don't want to call names, but even the people that way, imagine, say, for 2017, people that be so short-sighted. And they fight against self-defense. Apologize for ADF for killing gendarmes and police. Write an open letter and apologize to Pobia. And they distance themselves. So, be very wonderful for see those same people. They don't embrace self-defense. And that they don't be the people that way they go around for try for buy fighters. And the same people that they go around now for group for buy generals and commanders, may they can't fight under them. Now a wonderful thing for Ambazonia. A wonderful thing for a transformation of a people. For change, even the one the way they apologize to Bia. Today, then they preach self-defense. Now, a remarkable achievement. Remarkable. Now, with all that being said, everybody be on board for self-defense. Every person don't know now say self-defense, now the ticket for the liberation. Every person don't know now say, they say, if you not participate for the self-defense, you probably not get so much to say about the armed conflict. So any man don't jump on top. So that's why when they also say, with this big victory, it also come a little bit of the chaos. Because people now don't understand, say, oh, if I not be for self-defense, and now when they see the other movements, they don't split into two. I will give you details on that later. Maybe we'll talk about the other things. All right. The moment we do the second victory we don't get La République du Cameroon, when these things start, it be taken say na play. It take and say the Ambazonian people not be serious people. The Ambazonian people they be na hungry people. You give them chop, give them mimbo, you bribe some of them. Hey, they go give up. So Cameroon be think say this generation. It did like all the other previous generation. So Cameroon be taken as a joke. That's why they offer people that like Patasan about 400 million. May they give up. You know, they be succeed. For people that like would the ballast, you know, they succeed. Once they pick them, put them inside that prison, they get control of them, you know, they make their negotiation, they come out of it, you know, Bala and Dr. Fontaine, they make their negotiation, they come out of it. So it be just like 1960, you know, where they fit buy people then, and then once they buy those people, then they take certain positions. Until today, Bala take a position with the colonial state. Dr. Fontaine finally come off outside here, and then he day in between, yeah. But when I know say, they say after they put them inside that prison, they force them through a ceremony for sign that release document, you know, for jake their hand for up for independence. And I know say from there, things will be changed for their mob. But Dr. Fontaine don't come off outside here, so it won't be a little bit different. Bala don't swear and decide for your own part way one player and need to play that part since he come up president. He never change. He stay for the same position and need to maintain the same position. So they need to touch you anymore and need to defend them very well. And I know that one. So the goal, the leader goal based on the strategy, it be then I say, if the Ambazonian people they not use the strategy of self-defense. Number one, it will make the territory ungovernable. Number two, it will increase the cost of occupation. Number three, it will stop economic exploitation, when are the whole purpose for the occupation. If the Ambazonian people not invoke the principle of self-defense, they no go achieve any political objective, and the whole thing, it go die. So the leader knows say, once we invoke the responsibility for protect ourselves, for defend ourselves, I will not go wait on the international community, but now we bear the responsibility for protect our people then from Cameroon terrorism, from Cameroon brutality, from their tyranny, and from their genocide. Now we must protect ourselves. The leader tell we say, if we wait for the international community, as the other one, they be the tell way, by the time the international community won't come back, Cameroon go don't wipe all Ambazonians. Say wait to happen for Rwanda go be an easy thing. For the way Cameroon be the goal and the speed and the rate at which they kill the Ambazonian people then. If the Ambazonian people not be invoked the right of self-defense, therefore kill more than 3 million Ambazonians within maybe even 3 months. Therefore kill more than 3 million Ambazonians. So the number of people where they kill for Rwandan genocide, it will be small compared to what La Republic for doing. Because at the speed that way La Republic will go, but for invoke that right for self-defense and for use international law for invoke that right, it stop La Republic du Cameroon. They are police and gendarme because our people them too, they say no, we must defend ourselves. And by defending themselves, La Republic du Cameroon, they sustain a lot of casualties and they push them back. Till today, when they see what did happen, they already lost the war. The second thing, that right for self-defense, the moment you invoke them, Cameroon no go fit for stop the fighting on the ground, it go turn them into an international issue. As long as Cameroon office stop them, as long as refugees they start for cross border, as long as people they start for leave Ambazonia and go for La Republique du Cameroon, as long as Cameroon army they come for Ambazonia, plenty of them, it go cause the international community for staff for pay attention to a problem where they be done ignorance since 1961. A problem where they be don't move their hand for day. So the right of self-defense, it be been a strategy where Dr. Ayaba invoke them and he conceive them, saying that the only thing that for use them for holding this international community, drag their hand, can put them back for inside the matter. Because the matter is big past the one where La Republic handle them. It big past the one where Nigeria handle them. So now you use self-defense for create a condition where Cameroon will lose legitimacy, Cameroon will lose the ability for govern Ambazonia, Cameroon will lose authority for Ambazonia, and Cameroon will lose power for inside Ambazonia. Once that one happen, refugees they cross international borders. They go for Nigeria, some they start for go for Central Africa, some they start for go for Ghana. The matter now is not being for Cameroon in hand anymore. It being a matter with for the international system in hand. So now the thing in that way, self-defense is achieved for help we for move the matter from Cameroon in hand to the hand of the international system through targeted diplomacy. As the fighting they go on the ground, we go for now. Now for now we'll take we start for engage the international community for tell them the true story of Ambazonia versus Cameroon. Because the whole international community since 1961, Cameroon don't change the story of Ambazonia. The Ambazonian story not be there again. Now the one Cameroon story be there. And the international system, Cameroon don't rewrite history. It don't pay France and all people them. They don't change the entire history. So the Ambazonian people they need for start for through self-defense as the war they go on, refugees that they cross borders, people that be displaced, the Ambazonian people now feast for start for tell their own story by themselves. Now Cameroon don't always write the story and tell the story. Now Ambazonia, they get now the voice for them to tell the real story to the Americans. They tell the real story to the Canadians, to the Australians, to the Germans, to the English, to the French, all right? To the whole world, to Africans. It make them now, the Nigerians, they say, hey, now what did it happen for the name Ambazonia come up? It become a popular name. The name Ambazonia help for separate we from La Republique. So who adopt the indigenous name we pa Gojidinka he give we. The man we create Ambazonia. He give we the name. He said the name get for be separate from La République du Cameroon as part of the restoration of Southern Cameroons. We take that name now, we internationalize them. We say we'll be Ambazonians. We'll be Ambazonians. Now they want to hear the story. What did it happen? They want to hear about the genocide. They want to hear about the killings. They want to hear about the displacement. They want to hear about the burnings of villages. They want to hear about how all these images where Paul Biya, a killing machine, as they kill for inside the territory. Biya be banned all international press and international media from going into Ambazonia. They ban all international humanitarian organizations. They ban human rights organizations from going into the territory for bring out the report. They send journalism out. They block international press. Black out the internet. But through what social media will be fit for tell the story by ourselves. We become our own journalist for write the scripts and make the presentation to the international community. So we internationalize the struggle. We make them from being a domestic issue. When as until we Paul Biya things say, now you get the knife and the yam for prescribe the solution. We make them become something within the hand of the international system. A people they follow the strategy of approach avoidance for avoid the responsibility of the scam for 1961. Now they don't get no choice. They get for face a complex generation. A generation where we don't study their system. A generation where we don't live with them. A generation where we don't work for those same institutions. A generation where we don't work for create those same systems. A generation where they live within those same laws. So now they don't get any choice. They don't fit tell you otherwise. We take a matter where the world don't forget them. We make them become one of the top, the highest international issue. As per the former U.S. Undersecretary of State for African Affairs, Pa Nagitibo, Asibi Tokam, talks say the Ambazonian Cameroon conflict now the hottest issue for the international system. He said now we would talk past all man, now we would advocate past all man, now we will be the loudest past all man, now we would dominate social media. Now so Nagitibo SSF, he talk say the Ambazonian people them, their passion for their freedom, it make them the most loudest community for social media. So that means we gain international attention. All right? The world will listen for what we post and what we write about. Unlike other places, we dominate social media. Every parliament, the US parliament, start to talk about the matter. When be the last time with the United States Parliament? I mean the United States House of how they call them? The United States Congress, yes, Congress, the U.S. Congress. When be the last time it tabled the Ambazonia Cameroon matter for their table? Since 1961. Even the U.S. Senate, it take up the matter. It became a hot issue for their Senate. The same with the Canadian Parliament. The same with the UK Parliament. They get a hot debate. Even for the UN. Every diplomat for the world, it be involved. It be engaged. We internationalize the struggle. From a domestic issue, move on to the international system. From the responsibility, say that Cameroon, it go prescribe the solution, and it go prescribe the solution, and it go administer the solution. We deny them. Now the international community with the Ambazonian people, they go decide on the solution. We go give the Ambazonian people what they want. Now so we take that matter. And that's why till today, every cosmetic measure where Cameroon don't take up. From their negotiations with the Balas and the Patasan for Ayaba Hotel for Bamenda, to Bilingualism Commission, to Disarmament Commission, to Grand National Dialogue, to special status, to decentralization, all those things, they end up for fail. Because we don't move the people who they get the power for talk about the solution. We move them from the poor bear hand, from La République their hand, back to the hand of the international system. The international system will not be complete the decolonization process of Ambazonia. The international system will fail the Ambazonian people then for 1961. So the processes for bring Ambazonia, for effectuate the union between Ambazonia and Cameroon, those processes did not be take place. The international community now not get any choice. We put them back for their own debate. Put them back for their own debate. With all the benefits where they get them through the occupation, now they don't get no choice. All right? So that one, now a big achievement for the Ambazonian people then. And we'll do them all under 5 years. Now a big achievement. All right? Secondly, as we now know, when the people they rise up for acts for freedom, for independence, and for their liberation, hungry people then, as a people since 1961, where people they never ever get the opportunity, for play a part, for shape their own destiny. So obviously, different people then, all man come out and see the Ambazonian liberation as a means for them finally get a voice. The Ambazonian people never ever get a voice for speak for the issues we concern them, for get hot debates, for challenge each other. We never get a chance. So the Ambazonian liberation, especially for social media generation, it create that environment. Then people now they see them as a place. Some people they declare themselves say they be government. Very interesting. Some people they just declare themselves say they be government. And they said that they be the most popular people them. And that them they be the alpha and the omega immediately. And as a result, since they declare themselves saying that they be the government and the alpha and the omega, and they realize and say, now self-defense be the game on the ground, they say no. The best thing for them for do since they not be there inside this game for self-defense, now for them for talk say, hey, we want to go for negotiation. Una hear. That's why una hear about the Condemning negotiations. And una be hear about the Swiss negotiations. So negotiation become the new agenda. Not being a deliberation anymore. I want to go negotiate. I want to hear about the 4 points. The 4 points from Condemning. Now hear about the consultations. So the BR government be the negotiate with the KIG. When I hear all those things. So negotiation, it become the objective. For the two splinter groups. One they discuss directly with La République. The other one they discuss with La République through the Switzerland. So, but both be discussed with La République at the same time. And so the Governing Council of Ambazonia, as the leading movement, it began a test. It began a test for see if the Governing Council of Ambazonia, now actually the leading movement, or now people that did not their hands say they be governments. Now then they be the leading movements. So the Ambazonian liberation, it will be tested. Who get the power? Who's the power they? Now the people that declare themselves say they be two governments. The Condemning government and the Maryland government. Now then they really control Ambazonian liberation and which they talk. Now with the international community go listen. Or now the person where he launch a war against Pobia. Or now Dr. Ayaba. When I really launch this war against Pobia. Who get the power? Now the people they call themselves governments. The Condemning government and the Maryland government, not them they control the Ambazonian liberation, or now the man where he launched a war against the Cameroon military. Who? Now for here the Ambazonian liberation will be tested under international system. Before it won't reach a few days after the 4 points they come out, that one just die. Because the Cameroon government realized and say, there is no way we if we move ahead and it will be acceptable. And the people that say they wash their hand, that one die. So the test, it shows says they say, the power, the center of our struggle, it didn't somewhere else. The center of the struggle in terms of the person who lead the war. Because of the whole idea that now who did lead the war? The question is now who did lead the war? Now who declared the war against Pobia for fight Pobia in army, police, and gendarme? Now who? Now who lay out the strategy? And now don't put the highest number of guns and bullets on the ground. Now who don't build the force where the international community recognize them. Because the liberation today now about the war on the ground. The next test, now the one the way they go for Switzerland. As I be explaining for one last week. The pickup Siseko for January 2018. I think January 5th, 2018. It take 3 months for the people them for that IG group. They not be fit for bring in their vice president XXX. They not be fit. They leave and it take too long. Paul Biya take that opportunity. He take over the system and he put his own people them. Sako, he and Crisano. The failure of the people them for Siseko he group, for them for as they pick it up, for put in the person who will be their vice president XXX, their failure, it create a vacuum where Paul Biya take advantage of that vacuum. He chook in Sakoyi and Chris Anu. Take over that process because of the whole idea that take them over, chook in Sakoyi and Chris Anu. Sako come in for April. I think late March or early April for 2018. By the early part of 2019, under 1 year, it already start the negotiation process with Switzerland. It come for April. By May, they already launched my trip to Boya. Once a couple of months after, once they embezzle the entire money, because of the whole idea that the idea is you raise all the money so that Ayaba, sorry for the disrespect, Mr. President, so that Dr. Ayaba of the Governing Council of Ambazonia, when Nai don't build the ADF don't become very popular, for make a popular fundraising campaign, for make them not may not fit for raise money for outside anymore, so that it will become a dominant group. So they make this my trip to Boya, it become very popular. La République Colonial elites, they chook a lot of money from all the analysis who don't publish and for una. They can put a lot of money for make that process, make it be very popular So the Ambazonia, they go embrace them. And once they embezzle all the money, immediately they go now. The Ambazonian people be there for Sakoyi and Cristiano their neck. After they embezzle, they might trip to Boya money. And they know say Sako and Cristiano Ambazonia go bring them down. So for them for rescue themselves, because they not be get any credibility anymore, Ambazonia people be don't vomit them, but for them for rescue themselves, they get for go find something where they go hang they hang them for day. So Cameroon quickly introduced them through Peter Mafani Musonge. The one up in something will get for bring them back for now, but not just a refresh for people the way this thing don't stay. Through Peter, the former Prime Minister Mafani Musonge. Alright? Now Mafani Musonge be Sako a right-hand handler within the Cameroon government. They introduced them to the people them of the Swiss HD, whether they be sponsored by the multinational companies them, when at them they exploit Ambazonia, cocoa, coffee, and all those things. Now they introduce them. So immediately for Sakoyi and Cristiano, for save themselves from Ambazonians' attack and accountability, they rush, go commit for that process, what they call and say the Swiss process, for carry Ambazonian War of Independence, go jam them prematurely. That one, it be now the biggest test for see, now them get the power for decide for Ambazonia, for speak for Ambazonia, or the power it didn't for Dr. by hand and for the hand of the governing council. So that Swiss process, it be being a test for see who's had the actual power for Ambazonian War of Independence Day. Now the people there they claim themselves as a government, now they get that power, or it be just been a noise, or it be just been an empty talk. They actually get the power. So Sako Kariwu immobilized Elvis Kumeta, immobilized Dr. Akwanga, immobilized Bo Herbert, and they create some other fake organizations them. They be about them 12, including some La Republique enablers. Some 2 women them from ground zero, where they work with Prime Minister office for the peace, for the Southern Cameroon's Women Peace Task Force. 2 of those women them, they come for the like undercovers. They black their picture them out, but they be dead. All them, they come out, they go. They say that then they be the majority movements and that they don't come for can commit through the Swiss HD. We promise and say if we bring La Republique for the table. And they accept for be called how they call them? They call them political, there's a name, there's a specific name where they be put on for their communique. A word, a very small word where make them, they been a, just make them, they been a some, I think they call them political agitators, yes. They call them political agitators from the northwest and southwest, and they call them say the purpose. And I say they don't come for can't accept peace, make peace return for northwest and southwest. Now so they be there for that. Now so they be there for that Swiss document there. So it be been a test for see if these people then they think so because they be popular and the fika Ambazonia then go commit them for something, it go actually be effective. So they rally all these people then Elvis Kumeta, Bo Herbert, Dr. Akwanga, who again? They rally some other people then. They come out, they go commit for that process. So it been a test if they get the power or not. Now them actually the world they feel listen for them. Say if we talk for now, we go feel secure peace as in they call them for the northwest and southwest, make peace return and make beer for implement decentralization. Then finally special status or the no. So finally that process it can remain for 2 years and a half. From 2019 where they commit for day. To 2020, now na 2021, almost 3 years. Almost 3 years. La République du Cameroun, it never still commit. So, they carry this Swiss thing for their head as the new way for move Ambazonia them from the accountabilities of my trip to Boya and go commit now Ambazonia them for something will be very premature and Cameroon not be ever show interest. All be now for carry Ambazonia liberation, go jam am. It is like person you don't know how to drive. It is like person where you don't know how to drive. You just go buy motor. You carry and you go for your family house. One of your cousin them for village. You don't wash motor fine. They clean all the chair them. You see how the motor clean. It come out. It's for village because if you don't watch a movie then, you see how people they drive motor. You don't watch that movie then where they watch them with VHS tape. You don't watch them. See how people they drive motor. So you say 2 feet drive. The thing that happened on my trip with Swiss dogs. They come. So that your cousin will come up village. He say you bring fine motor. You don't see fine motor. You say if he drive because he don't watch movies. Say if he drive motor. Now in that, the moment he look say no man no day, he just jump. He carry motor. He start for driver. As he drive the motor they go. He driver. He go jam. Boom. By the time the motor one jam, luckily, you be get sense. You look and say, oh, if you stop this motor. Una find way. As the motor they come, una go put in them under. We go stop them. Can't stop the motor. The motor shake. Some small part them. They fall small. But the motor, the engine still stands strong. The whole motor is still stand. When all these people, then when they gather them, they say that they be the leading movement. They reach for Switzerland. Including Abdul Karim, he follow them. When I be no saying that the only reason that they use it to follow them. After 2 years, for April, for May for 2020, the last meeting we make Abdul Karim leave Sakodem and Christian come out. After 2 years, way to down the run, the hala talk say Dr. President Sako now be the government. After 2 years, they sit down for a meeting. Now we Abdul Karim finally asked the Swiss HD people them. He said, Bema asked you something. When I don't the kibu so for 2 years. Who just ask you? I want action at this thing. The one Abdul Karim himself. He asked and say, La République du Cameroun don't agree for also can make a talk. The Swiss HD people them they make like say they never even hear. They ignore it. They make like say a question we ask and they know hear. They make like say no exist. They ignore it. Ignore the question completely. And will be released the transcript for that meeting for all when I'll put them for public. 3 years later, Cameroon will commit. So, and the reason that because the Swiss, they realize and say, Sakoyi and Anu, they only make a noise. Including Akwanga put together, they only make a noise. Including Bo Herbert and Elvis Kumeta and all the other 12-7 ghost movements, a noise. So they do a test. They say if now wanna be the most strongest and now wanna be the most leading movement, wanna call for ceasefire. A few months after that one, Akwanga go call for ceasefire. Ambazonia show Akwanga something. From that day, Akwanga fall from grace to grass. a ceasefire, a scatter Akwanga. The primitive adventurism for take small money because the Canadian government is say, okay, if the Switzerland, the one show say they want take over, they want take the negotiation, then the Canadian government is say be ready for lead the funding of the peaceful resolution through a mediation. The Canadian government pumped $20 million. When I hear the government of Canada, it pumped $20 million. Now a lot of money into that Swiss process for fund the process. The HD people them now, they take this money now for start for use them, for buy fighters on the ground. As when I see Akwanga go Ghana with fighters them, for go show HD. For use them, for the pay the people and small allowance. For slow down Ambazonian liberation. Cameroon never ever commit. But the whole world, they talk about the Swiss process. But Cameroon never ever commit. And no money talks say Cameroon never commit. And all these people that they go for their ABC TV every day at the Swiss process. Just because of the small allowance. Where they give them for continue for pound the Swiss process. So that Ambazonia, they will think say negotiation, they go on and therefore abandon fighting on the ground. Now the whole idea is. So it been a test. When the Swiss people them they realize and say, would all what they try for doing, the war on the ground be more intense than any time before. They tell Akwanga say, Mr. Akwanga, not be now you can't declare ceasefire. Wait till make them again way the fighting they go on with La Republique with the Ambazonia past any time before. They can't realize and say, Akwanga not really get fighters on the ground. And the small fighters all they be remain. They be only be na for Meme and for Fako for control the cocoa farm them. For control the cocoa farm. And they be don't drive some of those cocoa farmers. And they take those cocoa farm from those cocoa farmers. And for make sure say a lot of the cocoa them, they go start for go back, cocoa go start continue for flow back into La Republique du Cameroon. The kind of realize I say, Akwanga no get the Sokadev when he talk say, now he be the biggest force on the ground, he know they exist. And they realize I say, Sako no get much control on the forces on the ground. Now certain afraid the whole thing can hear. So that's why this special status it not happen for Ambazonia. Because it be business on team way they be use them for prematurely end Ambazonia war of independence through this fake negotiation with through the Switzerland for the Ambazonia for Pobia for implement decentralization and special status and normalize things on the ground. Now the whole concept of the Swiss negotiation process that of the HD. When I remember, Sakure came here for 2020, for October 2020. Sakure came here for Canada with the people there for HD. For come meet up with the Ambazonian community people there. If the process be so credible, why would they go from Ambazonian community them? For go convince the Ambazonian community, say the process be good. If the process be credible, why would they go from Ambazonian Jangi house? For go explain them, say the process be good, it be clean. So they come for Canada, we ask them a simple question. This negotiation with Bo Herbert, Akwanga, Sako and Nanu all then they talk. Make we just ask him. Cameroon don't commit, and so we'll ask the HD people then for Canada, for Toronto. I'm not prepared for put up the pictures, but one I go bring out all the pictures for all Namona Siam. The pictures where I take on with Sako, I take on with Bo Hebet, I take on with Elvis Kumeta for that day, for that event. We'll put them, we'll release them for all now. We ask them, Cameroon don't commit. They say no. We ask them, so Cameroon never commit. The Sako don't gather all these people then. I ask the HD people then. Say they know say Sako not been the leader of the IG. The real leader of the IG, they know say they for prison, right? They don't contact he and need they for their process. They say no. I say, okay, how when I want to do negotiation with Cameroon? But the real leader of the IG, when I never go consult him, make he join this process. But when I want come, when I come now for the Ambazonian community, for make they agree say this process be good. They not answer them. I ask them this other question. I ask them say, all this thing what they talk, it is for a video where they be record them live because they be do a live stream for that program. I ask them say, when I know say Akwanga not get much forces on the ground, right? They should don't quiet. So if today when I reach an agreement, when I don't consult the governing council of Ambazonia, when they control the Ambazonia Defense Forces and are the biggest leading group on the ground. If they not they part of that process, now how no process go money move forward? Number one, Ayoktabe when a leader of the IG in order for the process. Number two, the person when I lead the war on the ground and he get the biggest and most powerful and most equipped force on the ground. The governing council of Ambazonia with its defense the ADF under the governing council of Ambazonia are the biggest force on the ground. When I never consult the governing council of Ambazonia and they not be part of this process, how the negotiation then will take place? They're not fit for answer these basic questions. They're not fit. But they be the go from one Ambazonia community meeting to the other for sell them a deceptive, manipulative process. For buy time for Cameroon. For fool the Ambazonian people say negotiation they take place. How negotiation they take place? You be a victim of the conflict. But now you that can't put them for front. Say negotiation. But the person, when I be the culprit, the perpetrator, when I kill people then, burn villages, he never commit. But you the victim. You say, yeah, I mean this. Negotiation. Very interesting. And when you ask simple, basic, human, common sense question, they not answer for you. So now, once the tonton do all these things, they know now the things often move forward. They come up. They come for the governing council of Ambazonia. The Swiss age, they say, we want to talk for Dr. Ayaba. The secretariat of Dr. Ayaba, the former press secretary for that time, he tell them, say, no, we not get for tell we waiting when I want discourse. If it makes sense, then we will set up a meeting between Wuna and the leader. So waiting when I want discuss with the leader. You know, say we don't already get this other people, they made a commit no. Okay, waiting when I want discuss with the leader. They commit now for waiting. When I send the process, we go read through. So the HD contact, it will remain for very low level for the governing council until they come back through the Swiss foreign ministry. Now the HD people, they realize and say, Dr. Abase, I no go deal with an NGO. The governing council say, we no go deal with an NGO. If we be real, we leave and make the Swiss foreign ministry can't talk for we directly. We no go talk for una. So the Swiss foreign ministry now get directly involved. And they call a meeting. The other one them, they come out. Bo Herbert, Akwanga, Sako, Anu, and all the other one them. Now themselves, they give them small allowance for them for buy ticket, go for Switzerland. They go shidon inside room by themselves. When they get for Switzerland, the Swiss agent they tell and say, well, okay, we don't know anything about negotiation now. So we'll get for help on our capacity building. Well, after they don't go reach for Switzerland, they give them small wine they drink. They give them small cheese they drink. They sleep for hotel for the first time for their lives. I hope so. I hope not. Give them small Swiss woman there. May they take good care of them, just like they do for Fumban conference. After that one, the next day, they carry them, go put them for some room. They say, when I don't come, so when I don't know anything about capacity, about conflict resolution and mediation or negotiation, we go start with now for teach you the small thing them for capacity building. Oh, see how people they useless themselves. See how people they deliver small oyibo them for NGO. They take una say una be leaders. You be a leader and you declare, first of all, you declare yourself as a president of Ambazonia. And you live and some people they move you, they turn you up and down, they carry you small picking and they carry you, they go put una for some room. And then they tell una say, una don't know anything about conflict resolution, una don't know anything about mediation, una don't know anything about negotiation. And then they will start to teach you the basic principle, the basic skills them for capacity building. And then the day after, they send una back. So that's what happened for them. So after they don't turn all this they try and move governing council of Ambazonia. They know it's a different game. They know it's a different game. They face a complex, well-structured organization. We know if you just struggle with them anyhow. Just because you be some small NGO for Switzerland. And you say, I want to mediate, so people will shake. The power mongers, they run, they go Switzerland. The one where they're hungry for power, they're hungry for saying that then they want to go negotiate. They go there, they useless them, humiliate them. They make themselves so cheap in the eyes of the world. And all those things, as they do and so, you the film them, they show them for la Republic du Cameroon. Cameroon, they laugh. Paul Biya, she done it for presidency, they laugh. The people there, they don't make themselves so useless, so cheap. And that's why Biya would take such a people serious. So the Swiss people, then they can try that same nonsense with the governing council of Ambazonia and for the. So they give them a condition. If we want to talk for we will only deal directly with the Swiss foreign ministry. We're not going to deal with the HD. So the HD, where the Swiss foreign ministry be already outsource the whole deal for HD. The Swiss foreign ministry now you get for contact now and say, hey, we'll be serious. We want to get a meeting with Dr. Ayaba. And the reason for the meeting we want to get a meeting with the governing council of Ambazonia, with the leadership of the governing council of Ambazonia through their State Department. So they say, okay. So they get preliminary talks. While the other one them, Sako, Chris Anu, Bo Herbert, Dr. Kwanga, Elvis Kumeta, and 7 other one them, they did deal with Swiss HD, the non-profit organization. The governing council of Ambazonia, it make a condition. So say we must deal directly with the Swiss foreign ministry. We must talk directly with them. We're not going to deal with HD. Because now the level this will day, I must deal with another country. We talk say one mediate for that level. We no go come down for any other level. It set a high standard. And the Swiss Foreign Ministry, he say, okay. So they get the Swiss Foreign Minister directly involved. They call for a meeting. They say, okay, make we meet face to face. Dr. Abba say, no, I know we meet up on a face to face. The Secretary of State for Governing Council of Ambazonia, Dr. Larry, say, no, we no go meet up on a face to face. If we want to talk, we must get the US may be involved. We must get the US may be involved. What talk, they must be transparent. We no go talk anything we for back. So we must get the US may be involved. The Governing Council of Ambazonia convened the US State Department. Say the Swiss, they said they want to talk. But for we for talk, we now must be involved. The US State Department, they come out America. The Swiss Foreign Ministry, it come out Switzerland. They go for outside, they take plane from America. The US State Department, it send people from US, from Washington, to Norway, to Oslo. For meet up who? For meet up with Dr. Ayabacho and his diplomatic team. The Swiss Foreign Ministry, they come out Geneva. They fly, come for Oslo. They get a face-to-face meeting with the Americans and the Swiss Foreign Ministry. The US State Department and the Swiss Foreign Ministry with the Governing Council of Ambazonia. Now for you to know who get power for inside Ambazonian liberation. Now who control the liberation? Who the control them? Not be noise. Na substance, na power, na leadership, na standard, na sense. And Dr. Ayaba, he make them clear to the Americans and to the Swiss. Say, look, we no go into any process. And he laid down 4 conditions to the Americans and to the Swiss. Say, when I fit deal with all man, but would we, as the vanguard, as the leadership of Ambazonian people, then, when I must deal in things based on international standards. We no go do all anything for that way where they do things for Africa with the old generation. We must do things according to how Americans, when we want to go solve this kind of conflict, we don't establish the methods where they must follow on, the processes, the procedures, the standards where they will follow on for solve this kind of conflict. The leader tell them, say, number 1, we not get Cameroon for commit. Say, Switzerland, if you be serious, say you want to be the mediator, for lead the mediation process, go get Cameroon for commit. And if you not get Cameroon for commit, they no can discuss anything with me. They no can discuss anything with the Governing Council of Ambazonia. We not go waste other people their time. We not go waste Sako Cristiano their time because the Swiss process for them not significance. Now it make them they stay alive for Ambazonian liberation as leaders. We not can waste our time with that nonsense. We don't need anything for validate who will be as a movement. If we not get Cameroon for commit, then we not can talk away about any mediation process. So number 1, we not get Cameroon for commit. At the first thing that. It said number 2, if when as we not the talk of Cameroon and Cameroon the commit, it must be transparent. We no go hide down. When Cameroon commit, we will be ready for comfortable. But if Cameroon never commit, not make nonsense away. The new generation of Ambazonia and this. The Ambazonian people must be treated with respect. That's what he tell them. You know if he can begin to talk away about commitment, and you never go get Cameroon when I declare war on the Ambazonian people, they may commit. So you, even the Switzerland, the Swiss, when I not get that power for negotiate. If you get power, go get Cameroon may commit. First. Number two, anything about the negotiation must be transparent, both to the Ambazonian people and to the international community. Number three, it must be credible. Say it follow international established standards. Number four, you, Switzerland, Paul Biya na for the bank all the money. Paul Biya na a citizen of Switzerland. Paul Biya a family the stay for Switzerland. You not be neutral. You be a friend to the Biya family. You be a friend to the Biya government. So you not be neutral. You get a lot of businesses for Cameroon. You not be neutral. You get interest for protect them. So you not be neutral. So we not agree make you alone, Switzerland, for talk say you want lead the negotiation process because you not be neutral. So we give them the fourth condition. Say the negotiation must be, the mediation or negotiation, it must be a multilateral process. That means say as Switzerland, it don't stand up for say he want work for bring the Ambazonian people for table. That means say the work on the other side or for Cameroon for Cameroon behalf. The Ambazonian people them too, they must go secure countries that they must give, they must be a guarantor for the Ambazonian people them. That's what Dr. Abba tell them. Say we will not be too neutral. So we must get other countries then for big guarantors for Ambazonia. And the leader, he can't tell the Ambazonian people, say 3 countries that will be willing for be as guarantors for Ambazonia. The leader make me be very clear for Ambazonian people then. Say those countries that be willing for come in, once Paul Biya don't commit, those countries that be willing for come in as Ambazonian guarantors. Now then they go stand for fight for Ambazonia for make sure say the process of the negotiation it be fair. And the leader also tell them say, why would he do all these things then? This negotiation, the Switzerland, the Swiss, they feel lead the process. But the process must be supervised by the Americans and be implemented by the United Nations. So that if Paul Biya commit, the process be transparent, the process be credible, multilateral, where Ambazonia they will get their own guarantors on the table. Anything where they agree for the mediation, for the negotiation, now the international community go implement them and they go enforce them on the ground, on both sides. For 1961, the United Nations, the United Kingdom, and the French, they abandoned Ambazonia for Cameroon in hand, and Ambazonia end up to be annexed, to be occupied, and to be colonized. So the leader said, no, that's why the process must be multilateral, it must be supervised by the international system, and it must be implemented by the international system should in case the Ambazonian people and Cameroon they reach a negotiation. Hey, the Switzerland people they carry the jet their hand and put them for. They say, hey, when they come up for that meeting, they go back for the other one then. They say, now we know why Ayaba be Ayaba. Now we know why the governing council of Ambazonia be the negotiator. Because all the other one them, the moment Switzerland just called them, now so they just run. They just run. Like people they never ever chop cheese. You know that people they come out for village when they come town. They do what they see Yahud, only Yahud. That people they come out village. I need to talk say people they come out village something they wrong with them. I just give an example. Okay, me too they bomb me for village. Someone will understand. When I don't say all that people they come out village. The moment they come town, the first thing when they buy, they want go chop them, na Alaska and Yahud. Una sabi? And bread and chocolate. Na so it be there. The moment this group of people them, they hear say Switzerland, na so they be run. Like say they never ever chop cheese, or they never ever stay for hotel, or they never ever meet up Oyibo, or they never ever take a flight. Run where they run. So when they go there, they just go them. Anything where the people they tell them, they say yes. And so when they meet up the leaders, the governing council of Ambazonia, they know say they deal with a different set of human beings. They know say these people, they not be cheap. You know if you corrupt them, you know if you bribe them, you know if you manipulate them. Now people they do things in a straight way. They need do them now for police some person. They do them now because that the right thing for do them for which they fight for. That's why the governing council of Ambazonia laid down those conditions. And the moment the Swiss accommodate, that same day, that Swiss process, it just died. Because now they know, saying that the governing council of Ambazonia, now they actually lead the liberation. It be very clear to the Americans, it be very clear to the Swedes, and it be very clear to Sako, Anu, Elvis Kumeta, Bo Hebert, and all the other ones. It become very clear for them when the moment they notice, after they launch all the attacks against Dr. Iba, the attacks on the governing council of Ambazonia and the Ambazonia Defense Forces, it increase. Now we know the reason. Because they feel say Dr. Iba, they stand on their way for them for go get a premature negotiation with Cobia and for Ambazonia for accept peace through special status and through decentralization. All the attacks on the governing council of Ambazonia, all the attacks on the Ambazonia Defense Forces, now for they come out. Now the jealousy because they see the superiority of leadership. They see the effectiveness of a revolutionary leader. They see a man with the lead now based on principles. For make sure say we protect the integrity of the Ambazonian aspiration. So all the political drama we will not hear them, not see them, now for here they come out. So when the leader today, he tell the Ambazonian people say, we don't successfully for stop all the primitive and premature negotiations where the one carry Ambazonia and go choke them inside. We stop them. The governing council of Ambazonia, through a targeted way of doing things and strategic way of doing things, is stop all those things for Ambazonia and them for not to be sold cheap, not for sell what people them very cheap, and for stop the process of their complete liberation. 1961, waiting for happen for 2020, and even now, it will be worse than what happened with 2006 and 1960 or 1961. It will be worse because of the sacrifices of this generation, their own betrayal. It will be that one way the African people, the world never ever seen for the 21st century. See, after so much blood, it don't be spilled. You see, you feel forgive Pa Foncha, Pa Muna, Pa Jua, and that generation. Because they not be spilled blood for them for betray the people then. But when you tell people that you make a promise to the people, you tell the people that say you fight for independence, you fight for their freedom, and then you come out for back. You not even call consultations with the people them. You not come back to the Ambazonian people them, can't explain them for them why you take such premature moves. You know fit. Because you know say be wrong. Because you know say not based on bribery and corruption. That's the difference that. So the governing council of Ambazonia, it don't save the Ambazonian liberation. On the ground, through the sabotage for kill generals and fighters on the ground, for end the war on the ground prematurely, it stopped Akwanga's ceasefire from not being effective on the ground. It stopped the premature negotiations then with the Condemning government and the premature negotiation with Swiss HD. We must stand for lead our people them on principles and for outright on our people them. The Governing Council of Ambazonia, through the leadership of Dr. Ayaba, will go continue to prosecute and lead the liberation for the way it guarantee the aspiration of the Ambazonian people, and for the way no movement, no person, whether not the KIG for Condemning, they not fit go negotiate on behalf of the Ambazonian people by themselves. Whether not all these other one, the way they carry themselves for one bundle, they bundle themselves for France for good chop cheese and chocolate. They don't come for their senses. The boss stopped with Dr. Ayabacho and the Governing Council of Ambazonia. Waity, we no go tolerate them. And I send this message for our brother and our papa Sese Yokabe and KIG. We Yerima the leader. The leader don't make me be very clear. As I talked last week, if una feel say una get the power for go negotiate with Cameroon, una go. No man will hold una. No man will argue una. No man will fight una. No man will quarrel una. Even the people for CDM, if una feel say una get the power for go get a negotiation with Cameroon, and it will be acceptable by the Ambazonian people then, una get the blessings for go ahead. The same with the peaks. If una feel say una get the power for go negotiate with Pobia, the Governing Council they tell una say una go ahead. I want to repeat them again today. As for the Governing Council of Ambazonia, the negotiation will go take place. The negotiation will it go take place now by the Ambazonian people then. Sisekwa Yoktabe, according to the Governing Council of Ambazonia, it no go shidon for negotiate for the Ambazonian people then. Sako and Crisano no go shidon negotiate for the Ambazonian people then. Dr. Akwanga no go negotiate for Ambazonian people then. The colonial parliamentarians, they no go negotiate for Ambazonian people then. And they no go speak for Ambazonians. We want to make it be clear. Just as the leader make me be very clear to the Americans and the Swedes and the UN. Now one negotiation will take place for Ambazonia. That negotiation not by the Ambazonian people by themselves. Dr. Ayaba no go negotiate with Cameroon or with the international system. When the time don't right, when the time don't reach, and the leader go tell the Ambazonian people them, when Cameroon don't commit through a process where it meet international standards, it be credible and it be transparent, and it be multilateral. The Governing Council of Ambazonia, it go bring all Ambazonians together, including the one them for prison, including their yoke tabers and the Mancho BBC and the Penterents and the Partasang and the Panfor. They go bring all man together. They go bring the fighters together. All the fighters. They go bring them together. They go bring the civil societies organizations. They go bring all man together. They go bring our activists, our social media bloggers and communicators. They go bring all man together. They go bring all the political leadership. They go bring all the movements. They go bring all we, the Ambazonian people, them together. We go shidon. Civil society organizations, the defense forces through their commanders and generals, were prisoners of war. All right? They were activists and bloggers and frontline communicators and the political leadership. Now all we, the Ambazonian people, then will go shidon, will choose a team of experts for go negotiate on behalf of the Ambazonian people. The Ambazonian people, they will give the team of experts the mandate for go negotiate for them. Any person, whether for negotiation for Condemning, you do it for yourself. No man will stop you. Whether the peaks, no man will stop you. But the negotiation will be acceptable by the Ambazonian people. Now, a negotiation way, it meet international standards, it be credible, it meets international standard, it be transparent, it be multilateral, and the international community, it commits the outcome of the negotiation, it will be implemented, it will be implemented, it will be monitored, and it will be supervised by the international system. Now the negotiation that way the Ambazonian people, they will accept them, and the negotiation that way the leader, it don't set them up for the Ambazonian people then. We must avoid this thing where people that they fight for their selfish interest. Now our people, they rise up collectively throughout the territory. While refugees, they rise up, they pay the price. While Mami, they rise up, they pay the price. While Papa, they rise up, they pay the price. While brothers and sisters who they fight, they rise up, they pay the price. Now a collective effort. All Ambazonians for diaspora, regardless of the differences for social media, at the end of the day, now one negotiation for go take place for Ambazonia. For guarantee what Ambazonia they fight for, and for preserve what they fight for, and for get what they demand for. Now one negotiation will be led by our experts. Not be the leaders. Not be 1961 this. We put all gates for bypass the corruption of the international system. For protect small special interest. We must preserve the integrity of the aspiration of our people then. Not be for some person, a personal interest. Not before a certain movement, a personal interest. The same sacrifice where they want them for prison, where they are yokabe, they face them. Now the same sacrifice where the fighters, where they did for prison, they face them. So the person need to pay an extra price more than other people then. Or we pay that price. Even as I talk for una today. Now the same people them who they shidon for Saturday we just passed 3 days ago. Today na Tuesday, Saturday passed, I think 4 days ago. Same Ambazonians. Where they think saying that then they get a government. And so they must bring every other person down. They don't go shidon. Publicly. They call us your name. I go release the audios. We'll go take the video. Even a brother waited for CDN. Now then they go shidon. After all the work we do for Ambazonian people. They go shidon. Because Sako don't destroy Ayoktabe IG. Yerima don't tie a foot them. Lock him up. Sako don't jam, scatter all them. Useless that IG. Making the IG don't become non-existent. Those same people them, they not fit confront Sako and Chris Ano for hijacking that IG. They are a scapegoat, now always the governing council of Ambazonia. They are scapegoat, now always Dr. Ayaba. They go always find some team. They go leave the problems where they face them. They leave the person where it don't destroy and useless as with IG and turn them into a piece of shit. Take this man, turn it into something else. Uselessly, even when he in prison. When the fear for confront small thief man with from Maryland where they call it Sako. When the fear for confront small thief man with for Texas where they call it Chris Ano. They don't hijack on a IG. Poor beer hijack on a IG. Take Sako and Chris Ano, put them inside. When the fear for confront them, for take on a IG back, and for make them a better structure. When they run from their responsibilities. They don't use them for scatter the entire revolution. Cause infighting. Make audios and videos. Every day. They take the whole ABC. They turn them into a propaganda and blackmailing platform against the AGovC. As I don't explain that for now. Because they stop them from going to their Switzerland. For go sell Ambazonia. So the vexation. Say the AGovC be too powerful. They must destroy it. I don't also hear, and I don't watch part of the video, for the Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall. Where a brother from the CDN, where I would consider he a learned person, and a respectful brother, he decided for also play the same game. The same game where Cameroon they play him. Now we don't want to play him too. For the talk say, they go write all one names them and send them for the various countries they will stay there. They go write one name to the government of Canada for talk say now we give instruction when they kill forces. Whereas, now their IG they give instruction when they kill forces. Sakoyi and Chris Ano they come outside, can talk say make Ambazonians. Una get the videos, una get the audios. John Egiwan, they release names, he and Chris Ano, of all fighters and for killing. They are small. One day they pay them for $500 to $250 for come outside for make video, make the kill forces. When they know the truth, they run away from this truth. They no one play the videos of John Egiwan the videos, Chris Ano the videos, where they call on the killing of fighters. Why would I not take those videos, play them for una Southern Cameroon International Town Hall? But una want always make the AGovC una scapegoat. Una try them. Una try them. Una try them. Una stop una nonsense for begin to act through proxies. The Southern Cameroon International Town Hall now don't be another proxies of the Condemning IG. Una the run self-defense, but una the go raise money for AMF. Una now the act na through proxies. Una no one come for front. Can't talk say, we don't embrace self-defense fully. Sako don't take una restoration forces. We una be talk say they under una. Now una go na through AMF. A small collaborative platform we there for down. Now for them una dey run now, go hide under. Go hide behind. Why be say anything when I do, una must do am with Why be say anything una must do am for back door? Why una no fit come for the Ambazonia people say, look, Sako don't scatter this IG. We be try for control these forces under the, how they call them, under the restoration forces. Sako don't take this board and turn them to something else where they do not infighting. So, why when not come for the Ambazonia people can't tell and say the AMF? Now force now we're there under the control of Sise Kwayo Kabe IG and Yerema. Now always through proxies. Always through organization and like DAC, the Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall. And they don't be the fundraising platform then for use them for buy fighters on the ground. For use them for mobilize fighters. But when no one self-defense. When they run away from the responsibility of self-defense. But when they use when they do it through proxies. I wanna be serious. I hear say when they call one name, say now we the cause fighting. I want make any Ambazonia, I go still put $1,000, including the people that for the Southern Cameroon International Town Hall. When I produce an audio, a video, where ASU, it don't come out, or Dr. Ayaba, or Benedictwa, it come out. It talks say, make Ambazonian fighters on the ground. They go kill their brothers and sisters. Wait till we don't call them. Wait till me I don't call for. Now when the pigs and their small criminals, they pay money for fighters for Guza, for go attack the ADF. They move audios and they move videos. We give specific instructions to the forces of Ambazonian Defense Forces and any other group for ground. Say if any group attack any group, may they defend themselves by any means necessary. I go still talking. And I want to remind those people them for CDN and the people for Condemning IG. I talk directly with the Canadian authorities. They watch my videos every day. I need to do criminal activities. I know they like when they hide for do things. I need to act through proxies. I speak on behalf of the most credible organization for Ambazonia. Based on the principles. So if when I instigate fighters on the ground, I will so tell them to defend themselves anytime. When I hear? When I continue for instigate fighters on the ground, I will tell them to defend themselves. If we not face Sako, we don't twist una IG and jam una. Una go think say una go divert the attention of the Ambazonian people for attack me and Capo Daniel. Now only for one reason. Because we'll be effective. We'll be the most effective Ambazonian activist. In terms of our orientation, for defend the Ambazonian people them, the clarity of which they fight for, our inspiration, will be the most effective Ambazonian activists. Now the thing is with the world now. See how they don't take to say we IG the turn and upside down. No person not there for defending, for talk for it about it, for defend we be. So when I don't see we, no matter how we try for destroy Dr. Ayabacho and therefore destroy the Ambazonian people them. When see we like the gatekeepers. So now when I don't be the new La République du Cameroon. For say, oh, any country we did it, we go call the government for that side, tell you say, now you they give instructions. Say that they keep a criminal. May turn the fire una. Would una bad belly them. And una bad batting them. Say because you there for diaspora. When Sako the move video, una never ever call Sako for order. Una dey even fear for call Sako in name. Una dey fear for call Christian in name. Na so una IG. Since 2017, we will start for call for the killing of forces. Till today, all for destroy the ADF. And for go do una premature small jama deal them as una consider ourselves a government for Yaoundé. Because una not get the man picking enough or the womanness enough for stand up and for talk say they say now war will defend Ambazonia and liberate the Ambazonia people. Now the carry on yourself go hide under blanket where they call and say government. Move your face. Then when I stand for in front of the international community when I make that nonsense. After 5 years, as an institution and organization, I need the shame. When I go hide now under AMF, will be created by Enso Foncha. When I go hide now under small forces them, where they try to stitch them together for a loose association. And for them, when I go hide now, for make myself continue to be relevant to the Ambazonian people. Wanna not try me. I want to send a very strong message for the IG of Siseko and the people them for the international town hall. Wanna stop this nonsense. I'm not going to play that game for that level. Wanna stop them. I don't do the most effective work than any Ambazonian activist. Take all them combined. The work with me and Kapot Daniel don't do them. If you take all Ambazonian activists, you put them together, you know, we'll reach half of what we don't do for the Ambazonian people. For defend our people them based on principles and humanity. But if I feel say, when I bring me down and bring Kapot Daniel down, it go help when I for destroy the governing council of Ambazonia. So that when a government, when a fraudulent government, when a fraud for Zaria, and the fraud for Condemning, Muna no can make another analysis for the entire system. Because that day that system will crash. Una not test me. I be very respectful. But I be a poison if you touch me badly. I don't tell you now. I be very respectful. When they want to destroy Oktabe, now me, I stand, I fight all them, including Eric Tato. Push all them for corner through my linguistic persuasion and save that man in image outside here. Muna not try me. Make una not test me. Because if I do one analysis, that entire organization will stop for exist. Muna not test me. Because of respect for our people them and for keep some certain unity between our people them, Muna not test me. But if una want to go down that path, I'll be ready for una. My year my name again for una mob. When I go hear them, I go take the whole game for another level. So, my fellow Ambazonians, when I stop this double standard, if the people them for KIG and the Southern Cameroon International Town Hall, they want to play the new game of La République du Cameroun for attacking Ambazonian activists. If now want play, now want start for act on behalf of Cameroon, for go after key Ambazonian activists, because una the fear for confront Sako and Cristiano, and una feel say will be the soft target, because if una come after we, una the indirectly come after Dr. Ayaba, una the indirectly come after the governing council, and if una bring Asu down, and we bring Capo Daniel down, yes. Because una think say una say that then they keep Dr. Ayaba, the organization powerful. They defend it for outside. Then if una bring we down, therefore the governing council no get. The governing council not been asu. Not been a couple. Now an institution. Not be German institution. All right. If I know that today, the governing council will even be more powerful because they groom leaders and people them. They groom them. That's why even when we kill General Ivo, we kill General Ivo. When we kill him, the ADF not collapse because they groom the next one. We not think say we go derail the Ambazonia revolution or liberation because we consider ourselves say we be government and we must take out any other person. We not can buy into una fraud. We not buy into una scam. When una see people there that they do clean work, effective work, with the highest level of performance and integrity and results, una the black man syndrome, una not like him. If I be being a hand clapper, I can't be a clap hand for una show them. Thunder fire una. I'm gonna talk this for today. I don't like when people they push my buttons. The lives of our people they be too precious. No amount of threats on our security, for our lives, it will stop me from doing the work where the leader don't assign me on behalf of the Ambazonian people. You know, if we slow down my fire and my passion for stand and defend the lives of our mommy them, our picking them, our papa them, our brothers them, our sisters them, because of una small political, selfish positions on one time. Una go take una government back for Sakwan Crisano. Una keep me out of una conversations. And if una not do one, then una focus on other things. As for me, I don't make them one of my defining purpose of my life. And for help the leader and for help the Ambazonian people them. Forget what they want them and what they don't ask for. We get the knowledge, we get the abilities, we get the energy. I'll not be a citizen of La République du Cameroon. I'll be a Canadian citizen. So if one call the Canadian government on me, tell them about the crimes I don't commit them for Canada. Okay. Be a clean citizen. And I will continue to act on behalf of the Ambazonian people them in a clean way. But any force we want to send them, they attack the ADF, we go remind and call on our forces for use maximum force for eliminate the threats on them. Maximum force. Any man we instigate fighters for attack the Ambazonian Defense Forces. The Ambazonian Defense Forces, they get the orders and the instructions of the leadership for use maximum force for neutralize the threats. As an act of self-defense for themselves and for protect the communities. Any other group where another group go attack you on the ground, The Ambazonia Defense Forces, it go intervene and it go use maximum force for help the group where another group go attack you, where they instigate them for go attack you. Any community where they under attack and under distress, the Ambazonia community, the Ambazonia Defense Forces go intervene immediately on behalf of the Ambazonian people them. For stabilize our people them and stabilize our communities. When a small threat and when a small cunning, we want to go hide now through some processes. For get to the leader is small. But if that way when I want to go, we too go stand up for fight that war for outside here and on the ground. We'll be ready for the Ambazonian people then. My fellow Ambazonians, when I get a good night, we'll talk on it tomorrow.